Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is fine. We are almost in the end of the week, and today we have the honor of having with us Dmytro, that will present us a very good presentation for sure, the strategic planning session, BA preparation tips and tricks. So, Dmytro, how are you?
Thank you, Francisco. I'm fine. So summer is going, and we have a great time for rest and study something new.
Yes, for sure, for sure. So before I give you the words and you start your presentation, just a few announcements to our viewers. So this presentation will be recorded as usual. Please use our YouTube channel or our internal page to to put your questions, please, to our presenter Dmytro, and he'll answer at the end. The best question, as usual, will be Dmytro's choosing, and we'll receive a badge. So don't forget also to say thank you to our presenter. And please, Dmytro, the stage is yours.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. So I can only add, guys, with us, you will always find something interesting and new for yourself. So please subscribe on our YouTube channel and social media. Don't forget to do that again. And today we have really interesting and funny topic. Why funny? Because preparation as activity for business analysts is pretty standard, but at the same time, we always find out something new on that way, always. And that is why we want to share with you guys some kind of tips and tricks about strategic planning session preparation process. So what you should be aware of, what you should know, or how you should react on some things when you faced with some kind of not a blockers, but who knows, maybe blockers as well. Also you need to know something. You need to have some kind of approach. You need to have some kind of tools in your tool set. I mean exercises, some kind of real tools, that you can use when you're faced with unpredictable situation during preparation phase of strategic planning session. Yep. And also on strategic planning session as well. So, or during strategic planning session as well. And that is why we structurized this information and for you guys, collect all kinds of our recommendations, tips and tricks that we're going to review all together with you. And we will be with our pleasure. We will provide the answers on your questions at the end of this webinar. As usually, we recommended to you guys to take some kind of maybe stuff, pen, maybe paper, maybe use your gadgets to make the notes, aha effects, we hope, and of course, the questions. Let's go forward. And this is information. This is a short information about me. So I'm a chief business analyst, EPAM, the west part of Ukraine, Lviv location. In IT area, I have pretty good experience, especially in classic big IT area as well. I conducted a lot of roles: PM, BA, PO, product manager roles, business consultant, right now in IT project. So this broad experience allows me to collect some kind of knowledge and share this knowledge with you guys with my pleasure. Let's go forward. And in our agenda, I hope that you are aware about our agenda for today's session. We have a couple of points. The first one is strategic planning session nature specific. We're going to review what kind of what kind of things you need to understand when we're talking about the strategic planning session actually. The second point will be about the stakeholders' cooperation capabilities during the strategic session. What our stakeholders really needs, stakeholders really need during that session. Yep. This is tricky question, pretty tricky question, and we need to be focused on some values of our cooperation during strategic sessions, planning session, other strategic sessions as well. And of course, we're going to review some kind of BA strategic session preparation best approach. You will never go leave our webinars or go away from our webinars without any kind of practical recommendations, yep, or some kind of practical approaches. So this is also some kind of small value for you guys. And of course, we will have some time for Q&A session. So let's start. I like to start from some quotes. Yeah, maybe you know that if you saw my webinars before. And this time I choose a very popular quote related to strategy. Actually, generally, and as you can see on the screen, guys, when the vision is clear, strategy is easy. Not only strategy, but everything is easy. This is a common sense because this quote is really popular, and I can't find who was the author of this quote, but on internet you can find out that this quote is really popular, and a lot of guys use this wise quote to organize themselves somehow. Yeah. So this is a common sense, and this quote is really truthful, and based on that common sense, we need to think about preparation for strategic planning sessions. Especially from business analyst side. Yep. And before we go on to review our main materials, we need to define the definition of strategic planning. What is that? Yep. Strategy, planning, what is that in reality? And you can find out on the screen a couple of very popular definitions of strategic planning. Yeah, and as you can see, in every variant of this definition, you can find the common basis. Yeah. For example, the first one is a process in which an organization's leaders define their vision for the future and identify the organization's goals and objectives. Yes, sure, for sure. We need to know where we're going. Yeah. So the second definition is sounds like is the art of creating specific business strategies, implementing them, and evaluating the results of executing the plan. Yes, sure. We can see that we have some kind of new object on our managerial horizon, executing the plan. Yeah, the strategic plans. And the last one tell us that this is an organization's process of defining its strategy or directions and making decisions on allocating its resources to attain strategic. Yeah. Okay. Also not bad definition, but in every definition you can find the basis of this object. Yeah, strategic planning. This is the process. In the first one, just process. In the second one, this is the art, yep, of creating specific business strategies. And the last tell us that it's an organization's process. Yep. So why we should think about the strategic planning session preparation as about the process? Because this is a set of activities that allows us to cooperate and communicate with our strategic planning session participants, we can call them in business analysis terminology, stakeholders, in the most efficient manner, guys. So that is why we need to think about the planning as a process, yep, with different kind of components in that object as managerial object, because any kind of activity could be, we can review any kind of our activity as a managerial object. Yeah, and the strategic planning process also could be reviewed from that side. So this is some kind of elements of system thinking that you can apply and you should apply in your practice. And if the strategic planning is the process, we need to think how we can divide, on what kind of parts we can divide this process generally. So let's find out together. But before, we need to think about two more definitions, because we talked about previously about the strategic planning as a general process, but strategic planning session, this is a separate activity that you will take participation in the future, or maybe you took participation in your past, and you know that this is very specific activity, especially for business analysts, not only for DMs, delivery managers, project managers, account managers, architect guys, etc., but also for business analysts as well. And what is the main sense of the strategic planning session we have two options on the screen. Is an opportunity for you and your team to gather and discuss your business future and the steps needed to grow. Definitely yes, this is an opportunity, guys. Any kind of cooperation, any kind of communication in our life, this is an opportunity for us to make something better or easier for us, yeah. And this is a process of setting goals and creating blueprint for organization's future. Yeah. So again, process to setting goals and creating a blueprint, some kind of visualization of that agreement that we are going to have during the planning session. Yep. And based on this information, based on this common understanding, what is the strategic planning generally, what is the strategic planning session definitely, we can say that we need to apply some kind of simple approach that shows us the strategic planning session nature specific. And I call this approach as abbreviation, as you can see on the screen. You can use that, and when you're going to use the abbreviations, you will remember a lot of things, and this is a simple way to remember something. Yeah, so I highly recommend to use that. And you see, guys, the next abbreviation, STRPB. Yeah. So how we can describe this abbreviation? 5 components. Of strategic planning session nature specific: space, tools, rules, preparations, and behavior. Simple, but really interesting. So let's review these abbreviation components one by one and see what we can find out from that approach. Space. First thing, when you're going to prepare your strategic planning session as a business analyst, and not only as a manager, guys, again, because business analyst is also could be some kind of managerial role, yeah, at the project. So you need to think about the space, and we have some kind of specific here in that point. So you need to the space that you're going to use or you're going to choose for this class of strategic planning session event. You need to be acceptable for all stakeholders, physically, for sure, because we had the COVID times. And right now, thank God and our medical and scientist guys, we are safe mostly, so we can provide some kind of strategic planning session events, not only virtual space. We can provide them in physical space, and in that case, guys, you know that this space should be acceptable for all stakeholders. I mean about not only conditions, I mean first of all location. Yeah, I mean first of all location and conditions. Yep, in the physical room that you're going to use. Why? Because the space will provide the influence on your strategic session, continuation and actually execution process. Yep. Why? Because space should be comfortable for all of stakeholders and acceptable for all of them. And for sure, with enough capabilities to conduct long-term meetings. Yeah, so such class of strategic planning workshop, especially because this is activity with a lot of actions, not only from your side and as a business analyst or managers, but from the side of client representatives. So this space need to have enough capabilities, physical capabilities, to conduct the long-term meetings. I mean, first of all, conditioners. I mean, first of all, water, light, correct light, enough fresh air, etc., etc., etc. So comfortable chairs, tables, or any kind of workplaces, etc. With comfortable conditions for concentration of work. So this space should be big enough, not only for discussions, but for personal work as well. And you need to think about every time, especially when you know what kind of participants you will have, or you choose for such class of event, with conditions to create something that you will need. So this space should allows you guys to act. Yeah. So it shouldn't be so very small. It shouldn't be very big. It should be comfortable for all of stakeholders and your team's representatives to cooperate, to interact, not only on team level, but on personal level too, or working peers level too. So think about that. Let's go forward. Tools. Any kind of tools that you're going to use in such class of event. Yep. You need to agree upon with all stakeholders of the strategic session. Yep. So any kind of tools that you're going to use with your stakeholders should be agreed with them. Definitely. All stakeholders need to have enough skills level of tools usage. Definitely yes. That is why you need to agree some kind of tools that you choose with stakeholders. And if they don't know how to use them, but for example, you aware and you think that exactly the chosen tools are really important for such class of event, and you need to use them, please teach your stakeholders, educate your stakeholders in soft manner how to use these tools for the most efficient cooperation during that class of event. Choose tools as simply as possible. Please, guys, don't make the rocket science in the case when you don't need to do that. Please think about the existing tools on client side. Think about regular tools on your side, and please choose the simple tools, because simplicity means for you the pace of work, means for you efficiency work generally. Why? Because when people know about the tools that they going to use, they will they wouldn't spend they would not spend they won't spend the time to find out the functionality of this or that tool, to speak about the tool but not about the work. Yeah, so you need to know that the simple tool is efficient tool generally. Of course, not for all cases this point is applicable, but you have the second one. Please educate your stakeholders if you need to do that. Also, the last point is about the please have always option B. You know, guys, in my practice, when our team prepared some kind of strategic planning session workshops with our stakeholders on different projects, we had a couple of cases. For example, when we agreed everything, when we choose the tool, and the main stakeholder, when he came on the meeting, he just changed everything. Yeah, so we agreed before, but client is always client, and he proposed, for example, use another tool. So please, you need to have always option B, and think about this option every time when you when you think about the tools for your strategic planning session. Let's go forward. Rules. So what about that specific component? Yeah, you need to create the rules for your strategic planning session. Why? Because if you want to organize people, you need to create the rules. Rules is the boundaries. Rules is a way how you should react, how you should act, how you should how you should think generally. Yeah, so rules helps organize people. If you, for example, use the SAFE framework on your project, and of course every team use this framework, please be sure that if you have PI planning session, all of your guys, all of stakeholders, representatives knows how these, what is the main rules or recommendations. Yeah, we can call them recommendations. How you should conduct your PI planning session in the most efficient, in the right manner, regarding to the methodology basis of SAFE approach. Yeah. Just an example. So you need to have the rules to organize people, and just not only physically organize people, but first of all, organize people on consciousness level and thoughts level as well. Discuss and align the rules with all session participants. Yes, for sure, common sense. Again, but a lot of times I saw a situation when especially before the moment when I started my work at big IT companies, in small and medium-sized IT companies, I saw a lot of times when managers just forgot, project managers, delivery managers, they just forget, discuss and align the rules for such class of events with stakeholders. They align them with, these rules with some kind of representatives from stakeholder side, but not for all of the participants, and that was mistake. So pretty simple mistake, pretty obvious mistake, but it's mistake. Send the rules via email and other communication channels. Yes, sure, please duplicate information, duplicate, don't be shy, don't hesitate to do that. You need to duplicate information. Why? Because we overloaded with information messages during the days, especially on dynamic and hard projects. And a lot of guys just can miss this or that information or things or rules when you discuss them with the guys. Just forgot about something. Please remind them. Don't hesitate to do that. Create the best way for you guys is create the KB space, because any kind of client has some kind of KB space or analog of KB space. So don't be hesitate again and create KB space with the rules and detailed information about the strategic planning session. Don't forget to do that. This is about rule specific. What about preparation specific? This is the most interesting point for me, and we have 6 bullet points here. So the first one, choose the way how you can moderate the session. Choose the way, because moderation is a separate technology. I cannot say the pure art, but technology as well. So please find out always in open sources or from your colleagues, describe the type of stakeholders, describe the type of the behavior of participants, investigate the behavior of participants of strategic planning session as a business analyst, and think about the moderation way, how you can organize specific people, a specific group of people. Yeah. So please investigate that. This is your homework. I can say that you will find out a lot of information in the internet. Prepare all needed templates and send them to participants. All templates should be prepared before the sessions, not on session, but before the session. Yeah. Confirm, double check the presence of participants. Always useful exercise. Why? Because a lot of guys could have some kind of changes in their schedules, and that means for you some kind of potential troubles, because if your key stakeholders can't participate in such class of event, this event could be obsolete or doesn't make sense. Yep, generally. So that is why double check, especially the day before this event. Define needed time and session continuation. Definitely common sense, but think twice or maybe more about the time. Don't make this strategic planning session as a business analyst if you prepare this session or participate in preparation activities. Please think and tell your colleagues about the time, yeah, and continuation of this session. Don't make them too long, if it's possible. In that case, if you have a lot of materials to review, you need to divide these materials in parts and maybe organize this session not in one event, but organize this session in a couple of events in the row. And that is not only common sense, but this is also the opportunity to think about something new, about intermediate outputs or results between these parts of strategic planning session that you will set up, for example. Yeah, or maybe you don't have a lot of information for that session for review. In that case, you need to choose the right way and the right tools to review the materials in quick manner and efficient manner, and maybe to provide a little bit more time for your next discussion or post-planning discussion, etc. It's also could be useful for you guys. So think about that. Discuss this point with the team. Don't forget about this point. Think about the main roles, activities, and responsibility zones. Also, very useful preparation activity. And you need to have the strict defined roles on such class of event, and you need to know the zones of responsibility for each role. And if you have some kind of for sure you will have some kind of key roles or main roles on client side. Please discuss the zones of responsibility with them as well. Prepare the people, main roles. Yep. So you need to educate the people what what kind of role they will have on strategic planning session, and you need to check in very careful manner, are they aware about the specific of their role. Just ask the questions. You are a business analyst, so you know how to ask the question in very careful manner to find out does this person that has the main role on, for example, on client side, aware about the specific of his or her role or not. Why this exercise is also useful? Because on client side we have a lot of situations when people could be cool specialists in specific activities on client side regarding to the client business. But for example, in software development process, in some kind of activities related to our strategic vision formation, etc., they couldn't be aware enough. And I have a lot of situations where when my stakeholders or key representatives from client team side, they were not aware about, or they don't know enough about the specific of their roles at the project, especially when they came at the project and they need to be educated. Yep. So don't ignore this point as well. Let's go forward. And the last one, behavior. What about that point of our strategic planning specific preparation? Yeah. So behavior. Choose the style of communication. Please adapt your style of communication regarding to the audience specific. If you see that you will have some communication with the board representatives, C-level managers, this should be one style of communication. If you see that you should communicate with delivery managers, or maybe even more with account managers, it could be a little bit another style of communication. Yeah. So please think about this point as well. Adapt body and linguistic languages to the participants' interaction style. You shouldn't ignore this point, because any kind of person just estimate you guys based on your body and linguistic languages. Don't forget to do that, and try to be on the side of the client team in that case. Why? Because this preparation can erase the borders, unconsciousness borders between you and client team. Define it, or your team as well. Define if you are a newcomer on the project. Define, agree, and make control points of interaction efficiency. Please speak about that points. Speak and just modeling the situation of your strategic planning session, just continuation. Yep. So think about the phases of this meeting. Think about, or stages of this meeting. Think about, or blocks of activities of that meeting. Yeah. Think about the outcomes that when you reach them all together, this means for you that your interaction is efficient. So think about some kind of KPIs of interaction efficiency. We call them control points in our practice. When you're going to cooperate with the people, you should know that your cooperation is on the right way. Yeah. So please don't forget to do that again. And we can say that all of these things, again, behavior, preparations, rules, tools, space, all together, they form, they are forming some kind of strategic planning session, nature specific. This is a nature of specific event, strategic planning session. And this nature, I know, guys, that a lot of you feel this and know these facts about the strategic planning session. But the main value from this chapter in our presentation is to collect all of them, to group all of them, and propose to you some kind of simple checklist and approach how you should manage, how you should control all things, all stuff in one hands. Yeah. Let's go forward. What about cooperation capabilities value? Yeah. What you should be aware of. And this is a really tricky point because of we should always for sure, any kind of doubts, any kind of manager, IT manager, or general manager can tell you that results matter. Yes, sure, results matter. And all of us working for results, achievement, yeah? Definitely without any kind of doubts. But in spite of that, we always have some kind of cooperation capabilities with our stakeholders, with our guys that we're going to cooperate all together on the project. Yep. And especially during strategic planning session. Yep. What kind of specific elements or components we're going to create together, we're going to work on them together, and we should be aware about them all together. So they are on the screen again. During strategic planning session, guys, you always should think about alternatives creation. And on practice, in a lot of cases, you can see that these alternatives will be created during the discussion. So this is a space for alternatives creation. Yep, this is the first value. The second value is regular value about the vision alignment. For sure, we're going to plan everything all together for vision alignment. Just remember the code at the beginning of this webinar. Clear strategy, clear vision means easy strategy. Yep. So we need to think about vision alignment, and we will have this vision alignment during efficient strategic planning session. New agreements. In a lot of times in my practice, in spite of it doesn't depend of actually I can say that it doesn't depend on the framework that you're going to use with your team, with your client. It depends on just the sense of planning. Yep. So during the planning session, you will think a lot of things with your client, with your team, etc., etc., and you will start to form some kind of new agreements. I call new agreements in your cooperation. It's naturally because you need to correct something. In scope, it's also cool for you, but you need to think about the new agreements or just new points for existing agreements, etc. You building the trust. The next point. Only in cooperation you can build the trust. Only cooperation process born the trust, the truthful trust or true trust. And the last one, common decisions, for sure, because if you want to do something in efficient manner, you should have the common decision. Only in case of common decision, you can say that you will be happy with your client together. So this is the 5 cooperation capabilities value that you should track, and you should think about them during the strategic planning session as a business analyst and the manager as well, because business analyst also should see the world around his position with the manager eyes, or through the manager eyes. And that is really an interesting exercise. Please, guys, homework for you, simple but funny homework for you. Just remember your last strategic planning session and check the results through these 5 checkpoints that we have on our screen: alternative creation, vision alignment, new agreements, trust building, and common decision. If you can say that all of them existing, in your practice, that is great. If not, please think what kind of barriers you have in cooperation process. VA strategic session preparation, also very important and very useful information for you guys. As I promised, 6 steps, simple steps that you need to do when you're going to prepare for strategic planning session. First point: aims of strategic session, decomposition and scope defining. Please think about that. Please provide the stakeholder analysis. I know that as a business analyst, you guys provided that analysis before, on discovery phase, after discovery phase, during onboarding process of the project, etc. But stakeholders analysis results application. Please think not about the stakeholders analysis generally, but the results of that analysis, results application for this concrete strategic planning session. Who should take a part in that session? In what kind of role this guy has, and other stuff related to the stakeholder portrait, stakeholder behavior, and influence on the project, etc. It's important exercise. Planning session success factors management. Please define the list of success factors for your strategic planning session that should be not created, but should be done, actually executed before strategic session, because you could have a lot of factors, physical factors, just other factors. Please think about them. Please create the list, take this list to your manager and discuss this list with your manager. The next point: BA tools and techniques list creation. If you take participation in such class of strategic sessions, very often business analyst is one of the moderators of this session. So please think about the tools and techniques that you're going to use. Naturally, we're going to speak about them a little bit more today. Moderation approach, session exercise proposal. So moderation is a process. And you should not only think about the moderation as activities, but you need to general activity. You need to think about the concrete exercise that you're going to use to conduct that activity in the most interesting manner. And guys, when I was preparing to this webinar, I found in the internet more than 80 exercises for the best moderation approach. So don't forget that. Please, we have a huge tool set in that point. Just find out 15, 20 for yourself, the most popular, think about them, read about them, the specific of these techniques, etc. And everything, exercises, and everything will be fine. And the last point, action items plan. You should create action items plan for you as a business analyst, and maybe for your team representatives as well, maybe for your client representatives as well. Why not? So 6 simple strategic planning session preparation steps from business analyst side. And these steps, as you can see on the screen, has some kind of sequence of execution of actions. Yeah. So from the first one to the sixth to the last one. Yeah. From the first to the sixth step. And I highly recommend don't break this sequence of action. Yeah. Just do that step by step and build these puzzles. Build from these puzzles the whole picture as a business analyst when you're going to be prepared when you're going to prepare for strategic planning session. And of course, a couple of words about some popular tools that based on our common practice we can recommend to you guys when you are going to prepare to your strategic planning session. So first of all, Miro. Miro is a great tool. Miro tool has a rich functionality, absolutely rich functionality, a lot of templates, and this tool updating on a permanent basis. Yeah. This is a way how you can organize your workspace of strategic planning workshop or session with your clients, and everyone can be at the same time on the board. This is a really cool tool with a small quantity of bugs, etc., etc. So it doesn't disturb you too much. And this functionality of this tool or tool set inside the board on the board is native. Native understanding, native for application, etc. So it doesn't take a lot of time from your team member side and stakeholder side to understand how to use this tool. And you have a lot of videos on YouTube channel as well. So cool tool. When you want to organize the work of a group of people in one place, in one place. The second tool is Figma. When you need to visualize something in efficient manner and in quick manner, we highly recommend to you guys to use this tool, because Figma is the best choice for business analysts to build, for example, some kind of UI components all together with the group of stakeholders, etc. When you want to visualize something, please use the Figma. In the right part, we also have some kind of recommendations. Yep. So think about the exercise, and you can Google this exercise. This is a topic for a separate webinar. Yeah. Start, stop, and continue exercise. Yeah, stop. So start, stop, continue exercise. This is a simple way how before you're going to start your workshop, or at the end of your workshop for conclusions making process. Please think about that. Don't forget about that, and you can do this exercise with any kind of tool, with Miro, with Figma, with Google Notes, etc. Doesn't matter. So please don't forget to organize your thoughts in simple way. Start, stop, continue. Yeah. Seems like as a retro session. Yep. But with some small specific engagement survey. For sure, this is a cool practice when you have some kind of complex strategic planning session, and you need to measure you need to measure the mood, you need to measure expectations of your client, etc. So please don't forget and use such cool thing that then we can call a survey. Yeah. So engagement survey is also help us to moderate the big group of people during the long-term strategic planning session or parts of this session in row, etc. Strategic plan visualization. any kind of plan will be discussed in an efficient manner when you visualize something during the strategic planning session or before. You can prepare this visualization and just make some kind of discussion. It helps a lot because 90% of people just use their eyes, first of all, and see information. Firstly, and think about information through the visual objects. We like to see some kind of objects. We like to feel these objects, etc., etc. So plan some kind of visualization of your results before session, during the session, after the session. It's also cool practice. Workshop templates. You need to prepare the workshop templates. Guys, if you don't have enough workshop templates, for example, ready templates or existing templates in your practice, please create them. Create them to specific planning session, for specific planning session, for client specific, according to the client specific, etc. Please don't forget about templates and time savers. Also very cool practice, very cool. You can find out in internet a lot of timers. You can use physical timers, tomato timer. You know that if you're going to have some kind of planning session during in physical space, And also, don't forget about the mobile phones, some kind of applications for mobile phones to save your time, to track your time during planning, strategic planning sessions. I know, guys, that you maybe hear about that, but about these points, but again, we collected all of them as the main accents in one space for you. And recommendations, finally, some kind of simple but strict recommendations for you guys. During strategic planning sessions, if you are business analyst, be proactive. This is a main point. Always be proactive. Why? Because you should drive the process, not the process should drive you. And be predictive. Why? Because during this specific event, strategic planning session, all of guys need to know that we are going in accordance with our plans. This is really, really important, especially for high-level stakeholders. C-level, board level, directors level stakeholders, they need to know that we all together control the process. Everything is under control. So be predictive, make the plans, provide these plans, discuss these plans, etc. Be courage. Why? Because you need to say if something wrong in open manner, and you need to be ready to do that. Be flexible. Also be flexible, because during strategic planning session something could go not wrong but in another direction, and you need to adapt yourself and your team. You should be ready to adapt yourself and your team on fly, to change your maybe behavior, style of thinking on fly. And be smart, for sure. No comments here for the last bullet point. And I want to provide one more common sense quote. If you don't control the situation, then it controls you. Definitely yes. So in our case, when we talk about when we are speaking about strategic planning session preparations, best tips and tricks, tools, approach, etc. Seems like, guys, we collected and we reviewed with you briefly, for sure, because we are time limited, only up to 45 minutes for that. But briefly, we reviewed the best approach, what you should do as a business analyst to be prepared, what is the main specific of strategic planning event, and what are the best tips and tricks for you guys for business analysts to think about that preparation twice or maybe more and be efficient. And right now we have some time for Q&A session.
Oh, Dmytro, thank you so much. It was an excellent presentation. You bring us here a very good topic. Yeah. Before the questions, we have a few minutes, but I want to remember our viewers that please don't forget to rate the event and say thank you to our speaker, Dmytro. And I left I put the link to the page in the YouTube comments, and we have here 2 questions.
Great.
So Daniel Cardoso asked the following: given the dynamic nature of today's business environment, how can I adapt a strategic planning session to ensure that plans remain relevant and actionable in the short and long term?
Great. So this is a good question, actually. Thank you for that, Daniel, because this question is about. I think that this is the most interesting question about the specific of your project, etc. Today we are speaking about the general approach, yeah. But I try to provide the answer on your question. Think about the dots, yeah. Don't forget about the connection dots. And you know, guys, the biggest weakness of modern companies, corporations, is misalignment between strategic plans and operations plans. Yep, because you can have a brilliant strategic plans, and these plans could be really genius, but execution of these plans can provide to you the bad results, actually, and vice versa. Yeah. So in that case, please don't forget about the connection dots. In practice, when we have some kind of strategic plan, for example, for a year or maybe more, yeah, we always need to think about and schedule some kind of reviewing sessions, yeah, some kind of checkpoint sessions of this plan's execution. So the best option, and this is not a new bicycle invention, to provide the enough quantity and with a good quality or enough quality of that control dots meetings, yep, or control meetings. You should think about dynamic of your project. You need to divide your project in different parts. Yep. You need to provide enough attention to KPIs. You need to provide enough attention for results analysis and for process efficiency analysis, your work process efficiency analysis. And all these things should be permanent activity during your project with the control dots, yep, where you can see the intermediate results and compare these results with your strategic plans. This is the first way. And the second way is the great decomposition of strategic plans, because good decomposition of strategic plans means for you better control. Thank you.
Thank you, Dmytro. And again, Daniel Cardoso left a comment that I think you answered it, but I will say we have 1 minute. I wonder if you can ensure that the strategic plans are not only visionary, but also executable at the operational level.
Okay, so I think that in that case you need to again deep dive in details. Devil exists in details. So this is my answer, and this answer based on my practice, guys. It's really my practice. Yeah.
Okay, Dmytro, we are on time right now, so
Yes, sure.
I want to thank you, all our viewers. I want to thank special to you. Thank you for your subject, your topic that you bring us again, and see you next time. I hope everyone liked this presentation, and we see each other again soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you soon. See you soon. Thank you very much, guys. See you and have a great day.
Equally. Bye bye.
Bye.